Immigration debate heating up as more protesters speak out. Today, a massive march in D.C. turning the focus of this battle to jobs. My next guest says if this immigration bill passes, all American workers will pay for it. Former INS agent and speaker at today's march, Michael Cutler, joining me now. Michael, here's the argument from the other side, just for a moment. They say 11 million illegals in this country are doing jobs that Americans do not want to take. So if you pass immigration reform, it doesn't cost Americans jobs. What do you say?
Well, first of all, I think it's a lot more than 11 million. I think it's about 30 or 40 million. And, you know, we saw it in 1986. I was an agent for 30 years. I had a front row seat to the 86 amnesty. If you give lawful status to a bunch of illegal aliens who are being exploited, guess what? They will no longer be willing to be exploited. They will demand to be paid on the books. They will have the right to expect that they will be treated equally as Americans. But more importantly, they will have an equal standing in a labor pool that's already unable to find work. An alien who is naturalized or given employment authorization legally cannot be discriminated against, so they could get the same jobs that Americans desperately need to avoid losing their homes to foreclosure. Now, this makes absolutely no sense.
You said in your statement today, in your speech today, you said, in point of fact, the unemployment and poverty rates are disproportionately highest among American blacks and American Latinos, and yet those groups are very much in lockstep with the Democrats on passing this immigration bill.
Well, not anymore, at least not today. It was the Black Leadership Alliance that held the demonstration. What was remarkable was that there were a lot of white faces in a crowd where the organization behind it was a black group. This is an American issue, Stuart. I mean, look, you came here legally, and I'm sure you cherish the fact you're here. My mother, may she rest in peace, came legally. This isn't about keeping people out of the United States. It's about first of all, not having a negative impact on Americans who are out of work or underemployed. It's also about national security. There'd be no way of interviewing 30 million or even 11 million illegal aliens. On blind faith, we would wind up giving identity documents to folks who may have other purposes for coming to the United States. In fact, they're doing it now with the Dreamers. Not a single interview, but we're providing identity documents. So look at what's happening. You know, first of all, the immigration laws were designed for two purposes: protect our lives and protect the jobs of American workers. Comprehensive immigration reform would fly in the face of both of those goals. We would wind up providing competition for Americans who could ill afford it, and we would also compromise national security. And you know, the other thing I said today was that it makes about as much sense to provide millions of illegal aliens with lawful status and employment authorization when Americans can't find work as it would to drill extra holes in the bottom of your boat if you found your boat already had a hole in it. The way that we need to approach immigration is to enforce the laws, convince people to not come here illegally, and make certain that we don't reward people for conduct that we don't want.
All right, we hear you. Michael Cutler, thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much, Stuart.
Okay.